Hello there, it's Jason here with another episode of the Weather Window. We've got such an interesting week's weather this week in the UK. We have Storm Christoph that was named yesterday by the Met Office, so I thought I'd bring you up to speed with a couple of details associated with Christoph, looking at the rain first of all, and then snow potential. We're also going to experience some strong winds as well, gales in places, and it's generally going to get colder as the week progresses. There's so much weather happening this week, and it's all caused because of the cold air that we've had, the cold first half of winter. He's never really disappeared from Scotland. I was just out for a good 2 hours walking there, and it's really chilly up here. Whereas southern parts of England have got milder, and the Atlantic's trying to push in to that dense cold air, and the weather fronts are just stalling, which means that they're really going to drop a lot of precipitation in certain locations over the next few days, and there are huge concerns for flooding in parts of England in particular, southern Scotland and Wales included, Northern Ireland as well, in fact. So we're going to have a wee look at it all and show you what's happening. And just to give you a kind of sum up of what's going on just now, I think what's going to be the pattern for the next 3 weeks is we're never going to lose that cold influence from the northeast of Scotland. And every now and again, we're going to tap into it again. And where the boundary exists between the mild Atlantic air trying to come up from the southwest, where it will be quite mild from time to time over the next 3 weeks, where that meets the cold air from the northeast, the boundary there, we could be setting up a number of wintry hazards and events, snow events. Obviously, we can't predict anything like that just now, the detail of it, but I think that's a setup for the next 3 weeks. And then it looks like the high pressure to the north, which is really the cold air, is going to become the more dominant feature and bring us a much brighter, drier spell during February, although it will be cold. So that's what I think is going on for the rest of winter, in fact, just before we get started. But I'm going to screen share with you just now, and I'm going to show you some of the latest data. So let's begin. I think a good place to begin is actually with the radar picture just now. So this is the radar this afternoon, and you can see the brighter colours and echoes there in the yellows or the oranges. That's where the heaviest rain is. And if I put on the precipitation type on top of this, what you can see is that already as this rain band's moving into the colder area in Scotland, we've got some winteriness denoted by the green and pink colours. So just zooming in a little bit there just now as a little snapshot for you. There's a little bit of wintry weather in Arran at the moment, in the southern uplands, south of Edinburgh. There's a little bit of wintry weather in North Ayrshire too, particularly around about the Fairlie Moors and the Galnot Valley, and a little bit of wintry weather just to the north of Glasgow. If I just zoom out for you, and I take the precipitation type off, just to show you the bigger picture there. And let's put the satellite image on top of it as well. So you can see that northern Scotland's quite clear, cold and clear. This rain band marks the boundary between the mild area to the south and the much colder conditions that are already in place in Scotland. So let's start off with having a little look at the Met Office. I'm actually going to take you into the warning page. So we've got amber warnings for rain for the next 2 days across England, Northern England in particular, from the Pennines running all the way down into York and also the Midlands there. There's an amber warning for rain across most of England and Wales. Some of the highest totals of rain actually will be North Wales and North West England, where there could be 150 mils of rain, possibly 200, with exposure on hilltops combined with snow melt. That's a real recipe for flooding. But the main concern, the main impact is going to be that amber area. There may not be as much rain falling there, but it's falling in saturated ground, and it's given the Met Office real cause for concern. So that's kind of the picture down south at the moment. I'd like just to show you, I'm on Jason's weather window just now, I'd like to show you this little graph. I love a good graph. This is a wonderful little graph, actually, from the Met Office, and it's showing you where the rain's fallen. It's a 3D graph. So the spikes represent the amount of rainfall, and it also shows you the colour of the spike also shows you. So let me show you this. It's a fantastic graph. Look at that. So you can see where the highest rainfall photos are, and that island there, Northern England, and particularly Wales. even though this is the area here with the amber warning, which has got a serious amount of rain, there's more rain falling in the hillier areas of southwest England, Wales, and even into southwest Scotland. There's your amber rain warning there. What an incredible graph that is. Would you like to see it again? I love a good graph and graphics, three-dimensional. You can see the colours there represent the scale, the intensity of rainfall there. So there's certainly a lot of rain going to be falling. And it's not just going to be rain. I'm just going to focus in on what's going to happen a little bit later. So rain is pushing into southern Scotland. Some of that could turn wintry this evening, first of all in the hills, but then it may come down to low levels. And there are two yellow snow warnings for Scotland. We've got the south of Scotland there, and we've got from the southeast of Scotland right up to the northwest of Scotland. That's not to say it's not going to snow elsewhere. We'll look at that in a moment, but these are the areas where snow will be most impactful. So I'm just going to read this to you. An area of rain associated with Storm Christoph will push in from the northeast, turning readily to snow away from the coasts and even at modest elevation. Snow accumulations of 5 to 10 centimetres are possible in places at low levels, whilst 10 to 15 centimetres is likely above about 200 metres, with perhaps up to 40, between 30 and 40 centimetres above 400 metres. Along north-facing coasts, in particular North Aberdeenshire, the precipitation will stay as rain, with widely 20 to 30 mils falling during this period, and a few sites perhaps seen around 50 mils. In addition, strong winds will develop through Thursday with gusts of up to 60 miles an hour along north-facing coasts, perhaps an additional hazard. These stronger winds will also lead to very poor conditions where snow falls and blizzard conditions at times over high ground. Inland from the coast, with wet snow, there's likely to be additional added hazards with ice on infrastructure such as power lines. So there's quite a serious setup of weather this week. So I'm going to show you a couple of charts, and I'll just show you the current temperatures as well, just to point out the contrast. So we've got 2s, 3s, maybe 4s at the coast in southern Scotland. We've got 1s, 2s and 3s in the central belt northwards. Look at that in the afternoon, -5 there in Aviemore, -1 in Aboyne. So some areas, and Moor as well at -4, are staying well below zero today, suggestive that there's snow on the ground, of course. The Moray Firth's around 1 degree there this afternoon, and these are sort of the highest temperature values we expected to reach today. Looking further south, just south of Carlisle, we've got 10 degrees. It's a huge big contrast in temperature, and that also kind of fuels up the precipitation, and obviously it's heavier when we have such a contrast. This is a pressure chart just now from the Met Office, and you can see the warm front. See that little cold front there? That's what's brought the cold air into Scotland. And here are your fronts that are just getting stuck and stagnating and not moving very far across Ireland and the north and west of England. As I run it on, those fronts don't really go anywhere. Say the stall, and you can see there a little low pressure centre. And this is the chart for midnight on Wednesday. So later on, very early tomorrow morning, and you can see there the cold front's pushing down, but the warm front's pivoting back up, and this is what's going to bring the snow. You can see it pivoting by lunchtime tomorrow in the southeast of Scotland, as the rain continues for Wales and the northern side of England, more showery for Northern Ireland. That storm then comes into the North Sea at midnight on Thursday. And still it's wraparound fronts, so still snow in places. And those black lines there are trough lines showing where there'll be more enhanced shower activity. But look how deep, that's like a dartboard low. So you can see why the winds are going to be strong. And what I'd like to point out as well is where the wind is coming from. So it's coming up actually technically from the Arctic or north of Scandinavia. It's running down, and although that severe cold air is modified by the Norwegian Sea and parts of the North Atlantic, meaning Parts of the North Sea as well, incidentally, meaning that it's going to feel raw. It's that kind of damp, cold, raw weather that we'll experience for the next couple of days. But the source of the air is actually coming from a polar continental source. So that's why the cold will win the battle as that area of low pressure pulls out to the North Sea. We drag the winds down from the north, and we could be talking about some snow even for southern England later on in the week. Okay, so I thought I would show you why this is all going on as well. This is the ECMWF, and I'm actually just going to show you yeah, the pole view down. So we've had a sudden stratospheric warming. This was about 10 days ago. And that's what's making me more confident about my winter forecast, that it will generally stay on the colder than average side, but hoping that we will have some bright and dry weather around as we go into February. But when you have high pressure over the North Pole, it pushes the polar jet down. In fact, the polar night jet, rather than running from east to west, reversed. It's actually still inversal from the sudden stratospheric warming. So everything over the poles going in the opposite direction to normal. It's disrupting the jet stream. It's pushing the jet stream further south as high pressure builds from the pole into Greenland. Well, we've got that set up. We have the potential to tap into some cold air from time to time. So high pressure is denoted there with the orange colours. Blue is low pressure and troughs of low pressure. And we are thoroughly under that trough. There is your storm system just there for this weekly mean analogy from the ECMWF. Now, I'm taking into week 2 here, which runs up to the 1st of February, just to show you that high pressure remains over the pole and Greenland. Although I think there is a subtle shift here, because I think the jet streams come a little bit further north, so maybe next week will be a little bit less cold, a little bit less wintry for England and Wales, but Scotland could still quite easily tap in to that cold air. What happens in week 3, which takes us up until the 8th of February, well, the high pressure starts to come further south. So it's covering Iceland, for example, and Scandinavia, building high pressure. It's pushing this low pressure further down, sinking into Western Europe. So we're cold again there for week 3, especially in Scotland. And week 4, you can just see the suggestion that the high pressure becomes more dominant. It's all northern blocking feature, which would probably bring the winds in from the northeast if this turns out to verify. That takes us up to the middle of February. I'll take you another week out just to show you that that one's a more unsettled cold week, running to the 22nd of February, because there's a cold trough of low pressure over Scandinavia and there's Greenland blocking, so that would bring the winds in from the north, and we have another Arctic shot. Let's just take you to the end of February. High pressure remains to the north. So I think this is telling us that we're going to stay on the cold side. Okay, let's focus on snow for the last feature of this video. Thanks for hanging in there. I know it's been a rather extended one. Okay, so this is a situation just now, and you can see a little bit of that rain turn to snow actually in the southern uplands of Scotland. Not to take away from the big story, which is rain, of course. Do check the Met Office website out. They have very good advice if you do experience flooding, such as having your insurance documents, switching off electricity and gas, going upstairs. Do check that out if you've got your concerns about the rain. I'd like to just focus on the snow for this last part of the video. And you can see even by 9 o'clock this evening, more of that precipitation is turning a little bit wintry in parts of southern Scotland and just pushing into the central belt too. So we might get a few wintry surprises this midnight. Snow suggested for the Glasgow area, and the snow is pushing into the Highlands. As we just run the sequence further on, you can see tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, pulls away into the North Sea, but remember it's going to turn back round on itself. It's going to pivot back into southeastern Scotland. So let's just watch that happen. There's lunchtime tomorrow, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Even southwest Scotland looks like it's having a little bit of snow there. And the snow's pushing into Ireland too, so the cold air is digging south. The purple colours there are denoting heavy, heavy snowfall, and that is at 6 o'clock tomorrow. And you can see southern Scotland, the central belt, Glasgow, possibly Edinburgh as well, just away from the immediate east coast. Looks like it's got pretty heavy snow. and it does linger around. That's midnight. There's 3 o'clock in the morning Thursday. Snow gets even heavier, and the Grampians. Look at that. That's blizzard conditions with heavy rain for the far northeast. So the wintry weather looks like it's going to, even on Thursday, 6 o'clock in the evening, southwest Scotland there, see some really heavy snow. The southern uplands and the northwest Highlands at this stage. And the snow showers continue, and you probably noticed that more and more of that's white rather than blue. They're running into Saturday. Seems to be a feature coming into the west, enhanced snow showers there. And there's also a little feature that's running into England. Look how that turns to snow for the northwest of England, Wales, and an island, and it pushes through. Just watch that push southeastwards. There we go. So that's picking up in some snow even for the southeast of England there, by 6 o'clock on Sunday morning. So there's a real potential for snow. Not everywhere's going to get it. More likely in the hills of Scotland initially, then coming down to low levels away from the immediate east coast. Some western areas of Scotland may have some snow because the wind is kind of in from the east or the northeast, so it's not blowing off the sea there. So you may get a wintry surprise in Ayrshire, for example, but I'm not going to put my money on it at the moment. I'll firm up in details for you. Certainly looks more snowy for Wednesday night and Thursday in Scotland, and then we have some snow showers on Saturday and some snow showers as well on Sunday that might band together to give more prolonged periods of snow. It looks like it's going to try and get mild from Tuesday next week. It's not a severe cold spell. It's not severe. It's typical cold January weather, but we'll keep an eye out on things just in case anything changes, and I will keep you up to speed with all the developments. Thank you so much for tuning in on a rather extended video. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed presenting it. Take care on the roads, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Bye bye.